This is Hardy Brute, with another run of Drill, Core. Today we'll be moving on to mission number 4, going to a depth of 200, and we've also unlocked the Swarm platform. And night damage is decreased, and we have to play with a larva mechanic. The laboratory looks different but acts the same. There's a new Swarm watchtower, and a Swarm incubator. And we start with some laser turrets. Something else I discovered is there's actually 3 different planets you can play on. They have different conditions, which are randomized each time you play anyways. But there's also different enemies. So let's play on the ice planet and see what we find. I love that the ship has a big old mouth. And this race reminds me a lot of the Zerg. I always liked playing Zerg early and mid-game, until the larvas became a mess. I like playing Terran probably the most. And Protoss was a bit too hard, I couldn't really get into that one. But now we have to drill to a depth of 200, and we also have to play with a larva mechanic. Not just to build units, but also to build buildings. Luckily this time our units only take 0.5 population, so it's kind of the opposite of the dwarves, but their stats are probably proportional to it as well. The larvas is located at the top right next to the red workers. I'm also going to play a very greedy build, and build 2 incubators, which don't do anything for the first 150 seconds, which includes the first wave. So we're going to have no defenses for the first wave, and we could easily die if we don't find any red ore. Because another unique mechanic about the Swarm is the guards. Maybe they're melee, but they do not help you out at night. So the only defense you have is your turrets early on. And the only way to build buildings is you need at least 1 red ore. And of course some larvae. So if you can build the Watcher, or build a laser, but I probably don't want to build the lasers. Ooh, and we got very, very lucky. Here's a red down here. And we have plenty of time to collect that, and we can at least build 1 Watcher, which will keep us alive. Otherwise it would have been a very slow and painful death for the first day. Because your workers do not go back down at night if you recall them. And the worms will decimate your population if they stay underground anyways. So it's a good thing we found that early on. Let's build the watchtower. Fires flies in a radius around itself, and the flies attack enemies. That's got a pretty big attack radius. It reaches past our turrets on the side there. And I would say our guards actually are melee. Just like our miners who are using their teeth to mine. We got the automatic turret, which does more damage when they have higher than 65 HP. Or the gun turret, which does like 90 damage but fires very slowly. It will also cost 1 less iron. And I think it fits a gap in our team. The incubators and the watchers, they do lots of little attacks, I think. But the gun turret can take care of the big boys. Now the worm is going in a big circle too. These worms are more dangerous on this planet. They're not just doing a drive-by, they're doing a U-turn. So it seems like the above and below ground are both different on the different planets. These enemies also seem to have some sort of shield, where they block the first hit. Because even our 90 damage turret doesn't one-shot them, at least till their shield is gone. But if we get some more watchers, and hopefully get the incubators to hatch next time, then we won't really have to worry about the shields too much. And the worm was having a ball down there, all throughout the night. I wonder if the incubators, when they hatch, if it completely destroys the turret as well. Are we just going to be constantly rebuilding them and replacing them? Or is it going to be kind of OP and they're just going to continuously hatch throughout the run? We increased our population to 10. Let's get a few more guards, balance out the team down there. And let's see what we got for tech. Get a drone that collects resources, which is very good. A reviving building, which is also very good. But I think both of those are terrible for our current race. We can easily make as many carriers as we want for pretty cheap. With the reviver, you can only revive 1 unit at a time, and there's a cooldown. If the cooldown's not up, then they don't revive. So it's a very good unit for the dwarves, who have less units, but they're stronger. Let's just make the building prices cheaper. I'm kind of keeping my rerolls for later, because we only have 2 for the entire run. So far we have a really cool watcher to build into, and we're trying to get the incubators online. Plus we have the heavy duty cannon, just in case none of those work out. But the main thing we want is probably some passive tech upgrades. Make things cheaper, make things stronger, and some active abilities. Something that's pretty unique about this race as well is that when you hatch units, they send them out to the rocks underneath the ground. And they hatch from there, but it feels more like a visual demonstration and doesn't really affect a whole lot underground. And when we were playing the other races, we used to find egg sacs underground all the time, but we haven't found any. Maybe because it's a different planet, or we're playing a different race. The worms are a-coming. Increase the workers by +3, that's 66 more workers, that's very good. Or make the watchtowers shoot 12% faster. I like both of those a lot, but I think I want to make our watchtowers OP. Because we've only built one, and we're going to build a lot more of those. Our incubators finally hatched, nice. And they stuck around. And they're little flies with guns. Perfect. And maybe these bugs don't have any health, maybe they just take 2 hits. But our hatched unit kills it. And the watchers also one-shot it when the shields are down. So maybe I overestimated that type of monster. But we're learning, we're learning. And our setup was pretty bad initially to deal with it. But I think our watchers and our incubators are going to be very good against that wave. The hatched unit took around 2 waves to appear, and it should last for 3 waves on its own before they die. So eventually we can get more and more and more. Especially if we start building even more incubators too. Get that process going. The one thing I really like about this race is that all the units are expendable. So if there's some sort of havoc, some sort of craziness going on underground, even if we lost all of our workers to a worm, we can rebuild pretty easily. We just built 4 workers, and we still have 5 blue iron left. We're also pretty close to drilling down. We got 4 of 6 coal. We've mined out a lot of this area, and we can't make it this wave, but probably next day we can drill down. Let's build 2 more watchers. They're actually pretty cheap as well. 2 blue and 1 red. But we did get cheaper buildings, and our units are cheaper on this planet. But I think our units are already cheap, so I don't think that actually does anything. This would have been a great planet for the doors. But we're playing this mainly for the mission, and for the new planet, not necessarily the conditions. And we've got 4 hatched units. That is OP. Those units are so strong. And a brand new unit that goes very slow, but has a lot of HP. And it looks like they also have the shield mechanic as well. They've got 2 shields before they start taking damage, and then they have quite a bit of health underneath. Unlike the other ones that get one-shot by everything we got so far. And I kind of like the shield mechanic. It forces you to have some speed in the build. But we got the rocket turret, or the repair station. Repair station is good just in case you need it. It's also relatively cheap at the moment. 3 blue, 1 red. But I think we get another nest, and really push the workers up. So they can drill and farm even faster. We're at 10 population, and the workers still only cost 1 ore. So it's either based on the condition, or just because these units are just cheap, I'm not sure. They are easily replaceable, but as you can see, a lot of our workers are actually almost dead anyways. They're not healing round from round. Let's also get the turret booster, which is a great building, but I don't think it's going to affect our hatched units, so we probably won't build it. And there's a coal in the bottom left corner. Another fantastic building is the worker booster, which probably has less effect on these units, but I think it's great for any race. And we got a big old bug here in the bottom, but maybe he'll be our friend. He is so fast. He killed so many of us too. Well, that was terrible. You can prioritize blocks, but you can't prioritize enemies. The guards just do whatever they want. And when we saw them fight, it did look like they had little guns. So it kind of seemed like they just don't like to help at night. which as the queen of the hive, I will have none of that. So we got the grenade or the mortar. Let's just get the upgraded mortar. We're at 5 of 6 coal. It's currently nighttime, but I'm not actually going to leave until we get this final piece of coal. And we do have it picked up. So hopefully there won't be a worm. But I'm just going to trust my turds so that we can drill down this and save a day. What would make the most sense? And we just turned it in. Can set the drill. And recall our units. It worked out perfectly. And look how many hatch units we have from just 2 hatcheries. I do think they're going to start dying off now though. 2 a day. And then slowly be replaced. So 6 is probably our max. The next hatchery costs 2 red, 4 blue. That's a lot of red. The watchtower also costs 2 reds. So red is our main limiting factor right now. Let's max out our workers, get some miners and guards, keep them alive. And now we kind of have a couple options to go. Because we have so much blue ore, I'm kind of thinking of letting our expendable units, let them dig underground for the entire night, and replacing them the next day. But that's really going to depend on how much blue ore we have at the start of the night. Let's get a couple more carriers and max out the workers. I don't think we're going to really use these. I'd like to save the rerolls for some passive upgrades, because an extra day slot or night slot really isn't going to help us. And we lost another miner, even though all the guards were right next to them. But our units are pretty low health down there. The drone station is something I haven't tried. You send out units to attack at night as an active. The laser station is also an active, but for the laser type of weapon. So it's similar to the rocket launcher or the machine gun, but instead you're setting out a single laser to do some damage as an active. So we have a ton of blue ore, and I think instead of risking all of our units this time, let's increase their speed, their bite strength, give them more health, and each one of those cost 5 blue. When usually I thought they cost 3 blue. So maybe it's because it's on the second level of the platform, or because of the race we're playing. Might as well buy the reviving building. The hurricane slows things down, which would also be decent. But maybe if I have some extra resources, some extra space, I'll rebuild the reviver. Because it's a decent building on its own. And I think if you build a second one, it just increases the speed of the first one. So you really only need one. Let's also increase their damage. So we spend all of our blue ore, and if we get another stockpile, then I'll definitely try to mine throughout the night like I want to. That guy's got a lot of shield, and he dies instantly when it's all gone. It's kind of crazy. Makes me think that the machine gun would be really good against these guys, because it would just shred their armor. But ever since our incubators hatched, we haven't been taking any damage. We dropped down to a core of about 90%, but then we've been able to maintain it since then. And for not having a factory, or a building that gives us extra iron, we've been having a big stockpile of blue, which is kind of crazy. And the next tech costs 8 blue, 14, 20 blue. But it's mainly the red that would stop us there. So we lost a couple more units. But our guards are doing decent. But now we have another big bug. Got quite a bit of guards though. Hopefully this one won't wreak havoc like the last one. They are so fast. And a lot of our units have no HP around him. Lost 1, lost 2. Yeah, it was better than last time. I think we lost about 4 last time. Let's replace the miners. Let's just go all in on the miners. Finally have 3 red, so we get another watcher. Would like to fill out the board so it looks pretty, 3 on each side. Unless they limit us again to 5. Ooh, that's not good. Another bug to the top left there. And we freed him, but he only killed one miner. Perfect. The Time Warper is a building we've actually unlocked. It'll constantly speed up one of our turrets up to 80%. They work independently, so you can get more than one. They just don't stack that buff on a single turret. So that building, plus the Reviver building, were two of the buildings we unlocked from the fraction that we chose. You choose one of 6 departments, they gain XP after the run, and it's its own little independent level up system, so you just unlock things automatically while playing the game. And I thought the 80% attack speed for one turret, or all of your turrets if you build enough of them, sounded a lot of fun. The Reviver also sounded cool, so that's why I picked this fraction. But I don't think they fit the build this time. Mainly because we don't really have turrets. We're more of a Watcher and an Incubator build. But I would like to do an entire build around the Time Warp. It sounds a lot of fun. And after I do that, I'd probably switch fractions, see what other buildings we can unlock. I think they max out at level 6 as well. The monsters are going to thaw faster. Well, that is not good. Hopefully it doesn't mean those big bugs, because those ones are hard to kill. Plus 4 rerolls, that's pretty good. But the block defense, that's actually going to help us right now. And that's something I'd probably roll for anyways. But we got some more tech here, and it looks like there's a coal here at the bottom. So we'll have 506 coal, and hopefully we can find the final one before the day ends. When the warning was talking about the thawing monsters, it actually meant this shell here. So it's a danger that just kind of sits and waits, but you can't really interact with it, and it's gonna just take out some units if it can. Luckily we only lost one. Let's build a third incubator. We can get the stunner, or the driller. We have enough other buildings that we're trying to build at the moment, and that it didn't really matter what we picked.
My purpose is clear. Transport. Mission destruction. Move.
So we lost another miner. It's not so bad. And we got the final coal down here in the corner that we need. But instead of a flame block, they've got an ice block here that shoots out very similarly to it, freezes your units, causes them to take damage when they fall, and it does damage to them when they freeze. And so I am not a big fan of that. But we did get just enough coal to drill down, so we can avoid that entire section. I did not like what that section was doing. But there's a new unit as well. They only have health, and it sort of looks like they explode when they get taken out. So we don't want those things near the core at all. But we're actually the strongest at the core, because that's the range of our watchers. The shield's getting a bit annoying. And the exploders actually have a ranged attack, so they just have a really cool death animation. Ooh, I do not like these back row snipers though. They don't get very close, and they just start chunking our core from really far away. And our incubators are only smart enough to fly towards the closest unit. Our flying doors from last time sort of prioritize the big units. But those aren't even big units. They're little tiny snipers, and they're just out of reach. So let's actually buy the drone attacker. See what it looks like. See if it might help us out. Because our watchers have limited range, and they're actually the worst unit to take out those snipers. I also think the incubators could be a bit slow at this point, so unless we build a bunch very quickly, which we'd have to find a ton of red, we might do better building turrets along the walls, higher up the shaft. Try to take out the snipers from behind. But we've always got a ton of blues, which is something I really like. Because you can build whatever you want, whenever you want. So it's a lot more liberating than when you're playing the dwarves or the humans. And you stress about losing units. You don't really stress here. I do wish we had a resource sink for all the blues though. Besides just reviving our units. We got another tech, another passive. So I think I'm going to reroll here a bunch. We don't have explosives, we don't have really daytime abilities. Could make the day longer, it's okay. Don't really want to reroll 4 rerolls, that seems silly. Let's make the workers 10% faster. And so that'll expedite everything that we're doing.
Retreat.
And we didn't get any coal that time, but we made some good progress in the mines. And the swarm, it is a-coming. Hopefully we can take out the snipers better this time. Ooh, those ones froze our units. Oh, look at the drones though, they move very quickly. And then they explode after they serve their purpose. Okay. The cooldown's pretty short though. And every drone building you build gives you a 1 extra drone per active. Which is okay. Kinda wish you'd get less drones overall and they just wouldn't go away for the wave. But there's probably not that much difference going this way. So I think we did a little bit better. I also think there was less snipers though.
My swarm. Daylight is upon us.
But we're slowly accruing damage just because of those snipers. So it does put a timetable on things. Accelerates the incubation by 35%. That is pretty good. But once again, it costs red. And the only thing we got is blues. One of the next unlocks we're going to get is that the factory, in both the dwarves and the humans, instead of just creating blues, it can also create reds on occasion. Which would be very nice for those other races, but that still doesn't help our situation. I do wish there was like a converter or something. Which, with how many buildings there are in the game, I'm sure there's something like that. So we don't really need any more buildings, but I'll just take the laser station. We still haven't found any coal, but we've cleared out quite a bit of space. So we should easily be able to spot it when we do. But this is our last mining area, before we get to 200 meters, and can end the mission. There's a total of 10 different missions. We're currently on number 4. The next mission, number 5, will require you to go down to a depth of 250. That would add a whole nother mining section to that mission. But I think next time I might go back to the dwarves. They might be my favorite race. I do like the Zerg, the ones here, the Swarm, quite a bit as well. And the worm appeared right away. So maybe next time if the worm sort of lingers, takes his time, I'll try mining throughout the night. Just because we have so much blue, and the larvas will respawn on their own. So there's a new enemy, and it explodes in a giant circle of ice. Oh, and they can freeze our turrets. I see what that does. So we don't want those things to get close. I thought maybe they'd freeze our flying units, but disabling our turrets is even worse. Although with the incubators, I don't know if that really affects them too much. So I really hope we can get some red next time, because I'd like to build some turrets along each side. That's going to give us the biggest chance of survival. Because we got lucky this wave. They only sent 1 sniper, but he still attacked the core 5 to 6 times. So we still took 2% damage, if not more. And the worm's just traveling around the board, I see. I do like the fact that your units are immune at the start of the day, so they don't just all run right into the worm and all die. Because otherwise, that would make me want to stop playing. You also don't have any control over that situation. The turrets shoot automatically, your units go down automatically. So you're just kind of a hostage there, watching over your units. But we found our very first coal. And if we're going to dig through the night, hopefully we can get to around 3 or 4 without losing all of our units. But we'll see what happens. It's really up to the worms at that point. But we've got plenty of ore to replace them. Our limit is the larva. We can only have up to 6 max, and I'm not quite sure how long it takes for them to respawn. But probably at least 10 to 15 seconds. And on that note, let's get a fourth nest,
Prepare yourselves.
just so we can produce more larvae, and have up to 8 max. The bar is an interesting building. It works just like the worker booster, but it's automatic. So it chooses 2 units randomly to give them the boost, which is really bad for the swarm, because we have so many workers. Let's make the blocks 10% weaker. There's a worm coming up in the middle here. It's killed 2 guards. And he mainly killed our guards, which isn't so bad because we can keep on mining. So let's go on the right side here. Also got the exploder, which is supposed to do a ton of damage, but then you lose the building. And the worm was coming up in the only section we were mining at, so we were going to lose everything and not really gain anything there. So we might as well just run away. But we can keep doing that day to day now, as long as we get the larva generation. We actually haven't got one since we lost our first units. So you may only get larva during the day, or the cooldown is just much longer than I thought it was. But it feels like it's been a bit too long, so I think it has to be a day mechanic. They freezed 3 of our turrets. But once again, I don't think that affects our incubators. And the lone sniper got a lot of pot shots off.
Dawn is ours.
I do not like those snipers. It's daytime, and we got our first larva instantly. It's definitely a daytime mechanic. And so we can slowly restock our workers. And probably save up some larvae to get some turrets on either side. Because we finally got some reds. But this right section is pretty good so far. And we can already see 1 coal. A monster thawed. It's taking out our guards. And so I guess a few more guards wouldn't hurt. Yeah, we had another enemy there. But they mainly killed our carriers and our guards again. So the progress isn't going to stop. I really want to build more incubators, but I think it's too late for that. So let's build a mortar. And build a heavy gun. And a second heavy gun too. And this one will probably be a mortar up there. Once we get the red. So we look away for 5 seconds. And we've lost even more units. But that is fine. We did get the red. Place the mortar. And we still have enough blues to replace the units we lost during the night. But we finally used the blues efficiently and built something permanent with them. And as soon as we got some reds, that is. But we can replace 4 units here. And then we're stuck with the larvas again. It's holding us back. But now we've got extra turrets up here. And they're all tier 2 as well. The mortars do an extra 20% base damage. And the heavies were just cheaper turrets. So let's see if we can take out these snipers this time, without giving away a bunch of free damage. Our swarm watchers on the platform, which I think look very cool, and I think are pretty strong when they're close to them, fall off really hard the further and further you drill down, mainly because it has an attack range. The rocket watcher sent rockets all the way to the top of the tunnel. The lasers just constantly fire all the way to the top. And I'm sure there's a machine gun watcher that we haven't actually tried yet. But the swarm just gets worse and worse as you drill further down. It is very strong early on though. And it did keep us in the game before our incubators hatched. So it did serve its purpose. Got another thawed unit who has a lot of health, and he took out 4 of our miners, 5 of them. 6 of them, man, that guy just would not die. Well, that set us back a little bit. Still wish our larvas would spawn a bit faster. It's a good thing we have 4 nests though. We'd be even further behind if we only had 3. And so we've finally been seeing and collecting some coal. I saw 1 up above, and there's 2 down below over here. So that'll get us closer and closer to the end. But we've mined out a big section before we finally saw some. But let's build some units. replace all the ones that we've been losing. And hopefully by the end of the day, we can get one more larva. Maybe build another turret. Because we got 2 reds now. And we did get a larva, nice. So let's get out of here before the worm gets us. And we can build a couple of turrets at the top of the tunnel. I think I want a couple of heavy turrets. I just like their damage. They're probably the worst turret against this type of enemy though, because of the shield mechanic. But that's not going to stop me. The heart wants what the heart wants. And I like big, slow guns that do lots of damage. So I haven't seen a sniper yet. Hopefully our upper turrets are killing them. There is a sniper there. Practically touching our turret. And he's kind of ignoring it. Perfect turret. Perfect. You can change the priority, but the priority is most effective in certain situations. Make them target the furthest, the closest, the highest health. But there is no prioritize these snipers, or are slowly going to destroy you. Because I would choose that every single time. But it looks like the Ice Warden is coming. So it's a boss monster, just for the ice planet. Fantastic. So each planet has its own boss, which is pretty cool. I actually like that a lot. And hopefully he won't do 50% of our health in damage. Because that would be uncool. We've got 506 coal, so it looks like we're able to drill down here after the boss fight and end the game with a big bang. As long as we survive. So we got our final coal. I'm going to set the drill. And I'm actually going to build 2 more turrets just for the boss. Because we got 2 more reds. So we maxed out on the heavies. But that just means we can build 2 more mortars. And see what the Ice Warden is. He looks delightful. He's got 1 big claw. He's kind of like a crab. And his eyes are shifted to the side. And he's got like freezing laser eyes. What's up with that? Send out a weird little black hole? I don't know what that is. Or like what that is. But he's taking decent damage. Luckily the bottom turrets could target the black hole. While our flyers are just focusing the boss completely. And they can't be frozen. But he's taken quite a bit of damage. He did have some armor to start with. But it doesn't seem like he regens his armor. He's sending more and more waves of enemies towards us though. Not a big fan of that. He is very slow though. He's only just making it to our second row of turrets. Even though he's freezing them all. And these Swarm Watchers are finally doing something. Just because they're getting within range. But he's taking a lot of damage. I don't think he's actually going to make it all the way down. But death is slowly approaching for us and for him. Oh my gosh. And he just walks away. Well, okay, buddy. I'll see you later then, I guess. What?
Awaken my swarm.
Did we damage him or did we power him up? Is he gonna come back with a vengeance? Like, he seemed totally fine. At least half his body could have fallen down or something, man. Well, let's get out of here and never speak of this again. We'll have to say goodbye to the Ice Warden or Ice Wardens. But the video wouldn't be complete if we didn't send our core to the core. They mentioned in the opening that we're kind of fixing the planet. Sometimes we're destroying it. Sometimes we're fixing rotation or magnetic waves. But I think that's a bunch of horse. Because we gotta turn the planet blue. That's our real mission. So we got a bunch of XP, almost 2,000, which will help level up the department we chose. We took close to 2,000 damage, destroyed 500 enemies, destroyed almost 800 blocks. These side missions were a bit too hard to do, and we get some free currency by reaching level 4. So I hope you enjoyed. Next time I definitely want to try the third planet, and maybe with the dwarves again, because I like them quite a bit. But I'll see you later.